Okay, I thought we were about to record and then somebody called me. So today is July 12th, 2022, and we are here to celebrate the fact that this is our third annual Underground Railroad excursion, offering an experiential learning opportunity in outdoors survival education, scouting, land navigation, and mariner arts that brings African American history off the page and into a practical modern day focus. We hope to create an environment that encourages self-reflection, that engages in living history, and that facilitates team building. These three tenets, these pillars, are what we feel as an organization and as the curators of the Underground Railroad excursion will ultimately awaken the art of survival that's needed for today's society in a modern day lens. We glean our knowledge from the life and times of Miss Harriet Tubman. We also glean from Benjamin Banneker's life and are inspired by both of them, like guiding stars that lead us on our journey north to freedom. This year's activities will take place August 12th through 14th, and they will go through a series of curricular developments that happened over the course of 5 chapters. Before I get started going through each chapter, I would like to open the floor and give an opportunity to all of our former participants, leaders that are instructors, experts, elders that have participated, and parents that have been engaged as well. Your continual participation is what inspires us and motivate us to keep going, knowing that we are supported. Of course, our ultimate inspiration are our young people, but knowing that we are supported by you helps us to keep going. And so before we get started, I won't call you out. I won't name you. Just go out, jump out, volunteer. I like to start with you just coming on and telling us why you've come back again this year and why you believe that this topic at this time in our history is still important and relevant for young people at this stage in their development.
Permission to speak.
You have permission.
This is Bobby Shakara Hannibal, and I just want to give a real brief thing, but I want to establish some protocol that in our tradition is I don't know this at this point, but that's why I said permission to speak. And since I've been given that permission, I like to state that as an elder in the community, and some people don't know the definition elder in African tradition, but I'm not going to elaborate. I want to get to the point. I just want to establish some protocol that we should kind of do things in age order, if at all possible. And I wish to speak first. And so I'm going to say that as an elder, what the Teaching Arts Institute is doing, I find it to be very instrumental to our young people's development. And I think that it is critical, crucial, imperative that we continue in that path and develop this process, this curriculum, whatever label we want to give it, because I see at the end of the line, at the end of the path, at the end of the tunnel, this is something that's positive for our young people. And we need to be in a position and put ourselves in a space and a place where we can get more of our youth to get these experiences and connect with one another. And we have a glorious future ahead of us with this process. I'm done.
Awesome. This is Ade Olomo, and I'm an elder with Teaching Artists Institute. I have been involved with the previous excursion, and it teaches our young people life lessons, lessons that they can carry with them for the rest of their lives. It gives them foundational learning that sometimes is missed because of technology and certain other things. The fundamental things of life our students are missing. And so the Harriet Tubman excursion fills those gaps and gives them that foundational learning. What do you do if you don't have a phone or a computer or lights? How do you build a fire? How do you survive? How can you live? How can you thrive even without technology? What happens when the grid goes down and you have to fend for yourself? What leaves, what berries, how can you live? What would Harriet do? And that is the prevailing question as the students learn foundational things to survive in this world. So it builds leadership, it builds confidence, it gives them a sense of self-worth and capability. And I truly enjoyed my time with the Harriet Tubman excursion last year. And I'm glad to see it growing exponentially, that more and more. I had a student today ask me if they could be involved. And so we're in the process of trying to raise money for these students to have these experiences, to work with some of the best in the field, the Black Mariners Association, people like Baba and Brother Nati, and so many others who are experts in their field and can give so much knowledge and understanding to these young people. I think it's an incredible thing. I've learned a lot. I'm still learning. And so I have a couple of students who definitely want to come, and I'm in the process of trying to fundraise for them to be able to do so. And I'm finished.
Good evening. This is Malika. I do NIA's outdoor excursions and camping and things. This is what I do with the youth I work with here in Cleveland. And I really enjoyed myself with the Harriet Tubman excursion last year. It was a great opportunity to connect with Thai Institute and see the tangible history being played out for the youth. It's one thing to read about Harriet, and then it's another thing to follow the path that Harriet took. So I really appreciate the live history for them and the exposure. Again, it's a tangible experience that kind of makes history relevant for our young people. They spend so much time on video games and things like that, and it's like a virtual world for them. So this gives them a taste of what really happened and what really went on, and give them the opportunity to, again, ask the question, as Mother said, what would Harriet do? So thank you, and I'm excited to get some new youth to come and experience the excursion.
I just want to say before you you guys continue to go, just so that the folks at home know, you guys are the reason that our program is considered a national program. Putting your young people inside of the vans, on trains, however you need to get them down to Maryland from Ohio, that's a different state. And so it's a different level of commitment that is needed to do that. And so I just hope that your commitment, wanting this history to be a part of the learning experience for young people in Ohio, how much more should Baltimore young people be motivated? Dorchester County, where we go down to Talbot County, Baltimore County, how much more should they be motivated to participate in history that's in their own backyard? So thank you guys, especially from Ohio, who always participate. And this is your, your second year. We always enjoy your young people so much. Does anybody else want to just talk about their past experiences or why this is important to our young people, this history and this experience?
Yeah, greetings everyone. This is Nati, and thank you very much again for the invitation to be part of this community that is doing phenomenal and wonderful positive things, to empower and expose our young youth to what is out there, like what Mama Ade said. How do we take time to remind our youth what it feels like to be, not to have technology around them. And not only that, but again, to remind them of where they come from and what is happening around currently in the country, and how it's impacting, and how 360 we're going back to where Harriet Tubman was fighting for each and every one of us who is here, and for them to be where they are now. And in short, I want to say thank you again for the invitation, for me to be part of this community, to also express and expand as well the knowledge of life skills, outside of the environment of the comfort zone where they are. It's because that's their norm. So how do we remind them what it means to recalibrate and delete some of the stuff that is already embedded in their mindset, and find a clean slate to have a different reception, perspective, approach, and presentation, and acknowledge what is around them and who they are. Most importantly, it's about identity. And once again, greetings to everyone.
Thank you again, Nazi. I acknowledge the Ohio group and the reason that we can legitimately say our program is national, working across state lines, but you are the reason that our curriculum has legitimacy and we can talk about what it means to be international. You being from South Africa, brings a new experience that young people can reach out and touch. It's one thing to say to them that Harriet Tubman came from Ghana, and that's real. And we know that. It's another thing for us to say, and here is one of our African brothers that's from South Africa teaching you indigenous camping, what it means to camp from our own worldview. That matters to me. It matters to us, and we are always grateful for your presence yet again here at the table. So, who's next?
I'll go. Good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Peace and blessings. Kia here. Hope you all are enjoying the day. Last year was my first time on the Underground Railroad. I didn't go to everything, but the last day we had a great experience. And so I'm excited this year. I'll have a little bit more time this year, and just working with the young people at the 200th year anniversary. Just an amazing experience. My hometown, my family is from the Eastern Shore, and so there's really a strong connection there. And so I'm just pleased to bring young people back and share with them the experiences of Harriet Tubman, and just really having some outdoor activities and just being in their presence and letting them see strong brothers, strong Black men that are, considerate and concerned about their total well-being, the total growth, the total development. So I'm pleased we have so many people on, and the word is spreading rapidly. We're happy about that. So looking forward to getting the word out and having some young people there this year and make it happen again. So thank you all.
Absolutely. And it is about their holistic development, not just the content, but holistically awakening the art of survival. What does situational awareness mean during this day and age? What did it mean for Harriet Tubman doing that comparative analysis together? So we're going to talk about our tool to do that for this year. Our curriculum has a few updates this year, and I would love for you guys to jump right on in. This is call and response. That is the way of our people. This is not us tell you what we think and how we do it. No, at this point, you guys are a part of the family. You're a part of our development, and these are our babies. So feel free to be the expert. We have everything we need. We know what our young people need to survive and how to awaken the art of survival. And so as we go through the pages of our curriculum, feel free to weigh in so that we have the best of our knowledge collectively. I'm gonna go ahead and share our first page. Thank you for your patience and bear with me. And our first page is just an overview. I just want to remind everybody that this project was birthed out of the 2019 year of return. During that time, it was acknowledged by many different entities. We've got President Ado, Akufo Addo. He came to Washington, D.C., and he said, I want to officially on the record welcome all descendants of enslaved persons during the 16th, 17th, and 18th century to return home to Ghana. And this was the ancestral home of Harriet Tubman, general of the Underground Railroad. And so inspired by his call, we began to understand the important role of our history. He understood that she was inspiration and that as a result, there should be policy made today to acknowledge that. 1619 was the year, Jamestown, Virginia was the place. The transatlantic human cargo trade in Jamestown, Virginia, 400 years ago is still very relevant today. And so we need hands-on learning opportunities to remind us of why it's still relevant. And that was the ultimate goal of the Underground Railroad excursion. So how do we do that? Well, we have goals and objectives. First is to explore your legacy of genius, to know that your history didn't begin in enslavement. However, we overcame that, and that is genius. We lost our language, we lost our connection to our geographic locations of origin, and we lost access to a lot of our indigenous foods, but we still maintained. We built a culture within a culture, and we want to explore that legacy of genius. Benjamin Banneker was a genius, an astronomer, the first almanac, helping to design clocks and Washington, D.C.'s blueprint. That type of genius needs to be celebrated and understood in an era where young people of African descent have problems with math and science. They need to know that even in spite of enslavement, in spite of being disconnected from their origin where mathematics was created, that we still produce the likes of Benjamin Banneker. And guess what? That was his house right there. And we're going inside of the bedroom where he slept. And tonight we're going to navigate using the stars, just like he did, just like Harriet Tubman did. So we're going to explore our legacy of genius. 2, develop a support system of like-minded achievers. That means that we want them to be around young people that want this knowledge, that at least decided to pack their bag and go and unplug. That is not typical of this generation of cell phones and video games and Facebook, or maybe that's for old people, TikTok, all the reasons to stay in the house and plug in. the young people that come on this excursion, whether kicking and screaming or not, they do. And they know that they're going to lose their signal. They know that it may rain and they may be sleeping outside in the rain. Maybe not the hurricane they experienced last year, but surely they know they're going out into the elements. They understand that they're making a conscious decision to do something they've never done in many cases. And that kind of energy needs to be empowered and connected. So we're with intention trying to encourage young people to stay connected after the event. 3, we're debunking myths and attitudes of underachievement. That's pretty self-explanatory. And 4, we're going to commit to an effective work ethic. So the young people are not just being preached to, they're doing some of the work. They're learning how to set up camp, and then they're setting up camp. They're learning how to cook in a mobile situation, and then they're cooking. And so we want to amplify that work ethic opportunities to demonstrate a commitment to a strong work ethic this year. So each chapter reinforces those goals. The first goal, of course, we're the Teaching Artists Institute. We believe strongly in creative communication. We use that in every facet of what we do. Chapter 2, the Preppers 101. So we kind of talk about the bug out plan. Chapter 3, the Mariner Arts. Young people in our community, a lot of them don't know how to swim. They're afraid of the water. Just the idea that they're going onto the water, knowing that in advance, knowing that they can't swim, that also sometimes creates a level of anxiety. They overcome it. Then we have chapter 4, land navigation and orienting. Going out into a place where there is no street sign, there is no traffic light, there is, no alleyway. When you are accustomed to these things in the urban jungle, going out into a place where there's trees or cornfields for miles can be disorienting, and letting them know, guess what? You'll find your way anyway, just like Harriet Tubman did on the North Moss side of trees. She didn't necessarily know which way she was going either, but she made a way out of no way. And you have that capacity too. Last but not least, foraging, eat to live. We want them to understand our indigenous brothers and sisters. The Underground Railroad wasn't just Black people liberating Black people. It was a triad. There were so many communities that stepped up to the plate that said, this is wrong, and I'm going to do what it is as a human being to make sure that it stops in whatever small way we can, starting with our indigenous brothers and sisters. We have a lot of those situations that we're going to talk about this year. The Seminoles down in the Gullah Geechee Nation outside of Florida, Jacksonville, Florida, we find a lot of intermingling in some of those strikes against colonial powers in that area during the Civil War and even prior to that. And so we're going to talk about that this year. We're also going to talk about some of the Quakers. Every year we have at the Hansel House, we call that a safe house. It's a safe house in modern day times. Of course, during the era of its original owner, it was a house that used slaves like Miss Rachel. And the names of those enslaved are marked on the walls in the basement. And so that gives us the power to change history. Every day we're making new history. And so perhaps that was the original owner's intent, to own slaves and to use that labor. And today we celebrate the likes of some of the African-American elders in that community that are reclaiming that space and telling our story. And so we also celebrate that. We're gonna keep moving forward. Thank you guys for following. I know it's a lot of information, but we just want to make sure that the people out there understand what's important about what we're doing. Next, but certainly not least, of course, you heard Sister Malika say, what would Harriet do? What would Tubman do? That is the question that we continually ask ourselves throughout the experience. Some of it is not as informal. Some of it are just basic. It's just a disruption, being in the urban jungle, coming into a place that has crickets. I remember one of the first years we had a girl that said, "What is that noise?" And we just didn't know what she was talking about. It was silent to us, but she had never heard crickets that loud. And so, asking her, what would Tubman do in these moments? Just continually asking that question, helping them to navigate culture shock. in many ways, reminding them of their greatness and the legacy before them. So we begin our tour down in Dorchester County, Maryland, Vienna, Bucktown, Cambridge, Church Creek, and then we head to Tubman City, Baltimore City. This year, while in Tubman City, we will be receiving workshops from Mr. Marcus Asante, as in years before with the Mariner Arts Institute, workshop. We will also, while in Baltimore City, spend a little more time and go to the Blacks in Wax Museum. We want them to be able to reach out and touch Harriet, Benjamin Banneker. We want them to, like Harriet's ancestors, sleep underneath of the cargo hold of a ship and hear the screams and cries, smell the funk and stench, and be able to connect her ancestry to their current experience. The waterways in that area include the Nanticoke River, Chacombe Creek, and the Blackwater River, as you can see. We are going to continue to the next slide. We won't be going through every slide in our curriculum, just some of the most important to help you to better understand our mission. We're going to continue on through the how. So our pedagogy, we're very focused on intergenerational learning environments. The intergenerational experience allows the learner to take learning to take place beyond traditional social groupings. I was a big sister and I had a little brother. My little brother started talking faster than most because he was able to communicate with me. I'm sure that if some of you out there have multiple children, then you know that the youngest is always the smartest. And it's not because he's extra gifted. He just has so many more teachers than the first. So what does that mean? That means that he's learning from his older brothers and sisters every single day, even when you're not around. So of course, he's usually the smartest. He learns to talk faster. He learns to walk faster. And that is the power of intergenerational learning environments. And so we have to reconnect our elder class to the youngest amongst us. This is how we promote and preserve our identity. This is how we understand socialization. It looks like we have someone that just joined us from Urban Psychological Services, Inc. Thank you so much for being with us today. We're going through the pedagogy of our curriculum for the Underground Railroad excursion this year. So outside of focusing on intergenerational learning environments, we also are very intentional about the experiential learning reflective cycle. So do we set our young peoples down with a book in the wilderness and say, hey, write out how you're feeling, do it right now? No, we don't. But we also understand that this process is happening, that they're reflecting. There's a bus ride in between each place, and these are long country miles. So they have time to sit and think about what just happened. They're traveling from Dorchester County on the Eastern Shore across the bridge back into Baltimore City. So they have opportunities, for reflection, active experimentation. And we make sure that we organize an escape to freedom. I don't think that we've been as intentional about that in past years, managing culture shock, managing the expectations of our young people. And so we're going to be very, very intentional about it this year, making sure that we, the leadership, are prepared to organize the escape to freedom practical. And that is going to be our active experimenting. Ultimately, after our event, what's most important is that we connect, share, and raise the awareness, our postscript. After the young people have experienced it, within that moment, they may not be ready to give feedback. They may not have fully taken in what they've experienced. So we want to make sure we do the follow-up and the debrief. Last year, we did the debrief. The event was in August. We did our debrief in December. And you would think that these young people were ready to come back and run this excursion themselves for other young people, because this is how deeply they had reflected on the experience, from logistics to content and curricular development. It was truly impressive when I heard one of the youngest members of the excursion out of Ohio say that this was a road trip It was a camping trip. It was, I mean, he said it was just so many experiences all in one. And it's process and sensory overload, trying to pick it apart. And so we appreciated him being so transparent. And those are the kind of experiences we want to be intentional about facilitating after the event this year. So I want to talk a little about our partners and facilitators, and then I'm going to open the floor for questions and comments. So of course, we mentioned the Mariner Art workshop. First and foremost, this is a tour. This is a boutique experience. We hope to rival the school system and summer camp and all those things. So please tell us ways to be better. Operating under the umbrella of the Teaching Artists Institute, Tide Tours offers a unique travel experience that allows those who embark to engage in an authentic exchange with people of the world. The Mariner Art Workshop, Marine Art Workshops, creates youth and adult educational sailing events and provides yacht repair services and training. I love that. I love the fact that they have a Black Sailors Initiative. During the era of the Underground Railroad, the Black sailors, the skips, they were the information chain. They were the reason that in a waterway area like Maryland, that knowledge was able to get from Dorchester into Baltimore ports. And so I highly respect their role in the Underground Railroad, and we need those skills to be a part of our community's development. We need to hold them in high regard. Next, the Nanticoke Historic Preservation Alliance. The NHPA was formed in 2005 to purchase and restore one of Dorchester County, Maryland's most interesting and intriguing historical structures, an old ivy-covered brick building located in the middle of what is known as Indian Town. And that's Hansel. That's the location where we camp out. I love the fact that they tell the story of three communities. They acknowledge the Nanticoke Indians that lived in that area. We have to always give thanks and honor to the indigenous people of this land. And they also reenact the Quakers that didn't live in the Hansel House during this era, but were instrumental during the Underground Railroad excursion. And last but not least, our organization. The Teaching Artists Institute was birthed in 2016 to provide an opportunity for artists to learn techniques for social transformation through the TIE Fellowship Program. Since inception, TIE has grown into a socially engaged arts cultural advocacy and training organization that plays an important role in the promotion of art for social transformation and development of platforms focused on cross-sector, cultural, community engagement, and sustainable development. TIE specializes in training artists to develop outlets for socially engaged art and mutual understanding. However, has guided many sectors interested in using art culture beyond its aesthetic value to cultivate imagination and innovative design. Special thanks to Benjamin Banneker, Historical Park, the Baltimore City Youth Commission, Baba Haiki Ami, the Success Scholar, and so many other supporters that have supported us throughout the year. I'm going to turn that off. As you know, this program is not free, so I want to always acknowledge our sponsors that have supported young people that don't have the capacity and the means to cover the cost of participation themselves. Of course, we always acknowledge Baba Shaka Hannibal L., who has come out of his pocket to support his two godsons. We want to acknowledge Obadiah Baker, who has also, on behalf of his organization based out of Cleveland, Ohio, supported and sponsored young people. And please let that be motivation for you all to go out and find other sponsors that might be interested in supporting a young person's participation for this summer. So I'm going to open the mic and take additions to our curriculum, take additions. You all have been participating in this experience. Do we have any questions? I see that we have someone new. Sorry that you may have missed a little bit of our introduction and overview of the program. Do you have any questions? The mic is open.
I do, and thank you so much for inviting me. I signed on a little late, no fault of yours, but my name is Miriam, Dr. Miriam Summers, And I, again, thank you for allowing me to sit in on this awesome webinar. Wow, you are just what we need with what we hear and see and read. We really need to go in a different direction. And I see that you and your, is it Teaching Artists Institute? Are doing just that. And so what I'd like to know is what else would you need? I understand that you need funding, but what other materials, supplies, what other resources would you need in order to make this trip a success, and your other opportunities as well?
So I'm so glad you asked that, Dr. Summers, and thank you again for being on with us today. We appreciate that. I love your profile picture. I love that part of the museum at the National Park. And, you know, just letting you know what we need. We need more help on the waterways. We need a boat to take us from Talbot County into the harbor in Baltimore City. We want to amplify our experience. We need more experts with kayaking and more kayaks. We don't want to rent. We don't want to lend. We want to build our own internal supply so that we can be independent, so that, you know, we have the supplies we need to provide the opportunities for our young people. We need more tents. We need them to be brand new. People have given us things that were in their shed, eaten up, and all kinds of stuff we couldn't use. We need our babies to have the best of what exists. That helps us to manage culture shock. We also, most importantly, we need more living history reenactors so that we can really bring the Living History Day alive, where we attempt to recreate what the plantation life would have been like, and to facilitate I guess it would be the practical during the experiential learning cycle, the escape that we try to plan. We need more those that are willing to put on the costume, willing to pick up and learn the accent, willing to play the part, especially Europeans, because a lot of them, they love playing the part of the Quaker, but everybody wasn't a Quaker. That's how we got here. That's why Harriet had to escape. So we need, you know, a few of our European brothers and sisters to play the role that their ancestors played. We also need people that are experts in camping. And we are hoping that they would be open to indigenous camping and what that looks like, and helping us to define the language around that and legitimize it. We need help with our curriculum, developing that, building it out, hopefully one day binding it and giving it out to other programs across the country that might want to join us or just facilitate the process for themselves. And then money. You mentioned that first. We can always use a few extra dollars for young people that just don't have the means, but would really benefit from the experience.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate it.
So basically, we need a whole bunch, Doctor.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
I don't mean to overwhelm you.
Well, no,
I just want to be honest.
That's why I ask. I am from the Eastern Shore. That is my home ground. And I'll see what I can do. I'll make a trip. I need to go home. I haven't been there in a while. And so I'll touch bases with certain ones. Brother Haki, are you connected with the NAACP for Talbot County?
Well, thank you for mentioning it. Richard, he's still the president, right?
Yes, I think he is. Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, I have his number. Matter of fact, he's on the board of the Maryland Black Caucus Foundation. So, yeah, I definitely need to reach out to him. Thank you for mentioning him. You know, he just wasn't on a call with us today, so I didn't think about that. But, yeah, I know he's like the connector over there. So, you know,
certainly.
Yeah, so, and his whole family is. So I'll definitely, you know, plug him in again just to, you know, it's difficult for him to come on this side, but since we going over there, it just makes sense.
Absolutely. And also William Jackson. Of course, William Jackson always liked to tell me that he sort of aged out, but through the line of Miss, Dr. Richardson, who passed away earlier in the year, he is someone to be in contact as well. William Jackson, he heads up now. I'm not certain which agency. I do know he's part of the Masonic group, but that's another person that I'll make sure that you're in contact with so we can get some resources on there, especially with the tent, the camping equipment like that. So yeah, I will reach out. And for Dorchester County. Now we also have someone in Kent County, which sort of kind of split hairs, if you will. Kent County kind of it's on the Eastern Shore, but you're sort of, I guess, towards the east. So if you're going down, you go up through Chestertown, Chesapeake, Maryland, and all those places. So that's another area there. Councilperson Donsala Wilson.
Yes, I know her, right.
Yeah, okay, Donsala, in that area. I'm not certain about down on the lower shore. I have to do some digging there. But those are some things that we can coordinate, some folks that we can connect with in terms of the expertise that you're looking for. I made a note of, and I will follow up with that within the next few days or so.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Wow, that would be amazing. Please post your contact inside the group chat for the Zoom so that we can stay in touch.
Kim,
Does anybody? Yes.
that's my aunt. That's Aunt Marion.
Oh, okay. Keep it in the family. Hey, Auntie.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I appreciate the fact that it's in the network, that all we have to do really is just reach out for all of the resources that we need. All the young people we want to serve, all the resources that we need, we really just need to ask. We have not because we ask not.
Absolutely.
And so I know that we're all working in multiple spaces, multiple organizations, and we're wearing a lot of hats. But I think this space is worth it. It's only once per year, and the young people gain so much in such a short period of time. They'll never forget this experience, even if they only do it once. They'll remember it for the rest of their lives.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, another organization that I've connected with is I'm quite sure everyone on the call knows, is the Roots of Scouting, who had an affair. I was unable to attend this weekend because I'm on crutches, but I heard it was an awesome affair. I sent one of my godchildren over there to participate. And so, yes, we are doing some great things. Yeah, because we're great people. And we have a lot more to do.
Well, I'm a board member of Roots of Scouting.
I'm sorry?
This is Lee Shakara Hannibal. I'm on the board of directors of Roots of Scouting.
Okay. All right. Okay. So you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. So we have great things going on. We just have to do a coordinated effort and get together. And as I said, become and be stronger and larger than we already are and get it done. It's all about getting it done, making a difference.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm happy to say that Nadi is bringing his son and maybe a few other young people from Washington, D.C., where he's from this year. And so, the son is coming, and I'm sure that he's got a couple friends, just spreading the network as it relates to the participants as well, because this is an opportunity for them to meet young people outside the area where they're from, maybe meet their new friend. That's the connection for them, and that's also important. So I say that to say, thank you again for being here tonight. I want to keep the mic open. Is there anybody else that wants to make a contribution, something you want to say, get it off your chest, you want to wish us well?
Yes, I did speak to Talise from Nhpa, my daughter. Nhpa will sponsor a student. That student has to be from Nhpa. So we're trying to decide which student. And I'm trying to, in my class today, several of the students who had come before, they're anxious to come again. Even our young lady with her nails, she wants to come again. So it's just a matter of raising money and I was telling everyone, if you don't let that deter you from not wanting to come, because you don't have a tent, because you don't have whatever. Don't let that deter you. So we're diligently working so that we get more young people, because the interest is there. The interest is definitely there. So we all pull together and we can make it happen.
Okay.
Indeed. Well, if there is no one else that wants to make a drop in our basket, I just want to thank you guys again for your time. And I look forward to seeing you all in August. Thank you again. The Underground Railroad Excursion, August 12th through the 14th, is an opportunity for you to take history off the page, get your young person involved. Contact us today, facebook.com/teaching artists. Again, that's facebook.com/teaching artists. Inbox us today and let us know that your young person is going to join us. We'd be happy to have them. We're also interested in families coming. Make this a family affair. You're not too old to keep learning. Your young people will learn faster with your encouragement and support. We are looking for young people ages 12 and beyond. But if your young person is below 12, they are welcome to come if you will accompany them. And so let us know. August will be here before you know it. Thank you again. Peace and blessings, and we'll see you in August.
See you in August.